Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to another week of writing. I'm so happy to be here with you in space, in community, in time, and place. It is Monday. It is the beginning of the week. I do these weekly check-ins. I've kind of made it a ritual because I'm finding it's a great way for me to continue to be reflective about my practice, about what I want to do, why I'm doing it, how I can write better, how I can write more, how I can read more, but less about more, just kind of what the heck it is I'm doing. And specifically around goals, I find that at the very least, if I set an intention, say a goal, say some goals out loud at the top of the week, I at least have some kind of direction for the week. So that's what I'm doing here today. If you're here, welcome. Let me know in the chat and tell me what you're working on this week as well. You know, I find this to be personally valuable, but data supports this as well. And that's why I like to do this. And I like to do it with more people like yourself because I just feel like we're in this together. Anyway, so I want to talk about specifics. I want to talk about my writing goals. I want to talk about some things I want to read this week. I want to talk about things I want to submit this week. But I also just want to talk briefly about my weekend. It was kind of a different sort of weekend, and I think it has positioned me really well this week. I feel at ease going into this week, and I want to talk about that. I feel like confident, relaxed, and inspired all at once, and I think that was because of a few things that happened over the weekend. So one of the things that happened and is still happening is that I left my phone here. This is not where I live. This is my taller, or my workshop, as I call it, my studio. And I left my phone in the house. Or rather, sorry, I left it here. And it's on the floor right there. I did not bring my phone home for the weekend. And I set a little away message. And so I went all weekend without the phone, which meant that I spent all weekend with my family, all weekend not working, not planning a YouTube video, not, finding places to submit to. And that was one kind of liberating thing. And I have still not checked that phone. You know, now I'm kind of like, what's that expression? Pushing my luck a little bit because who knows what's on there that I need to read. But I'm kind of trying to stay in that mode just a little bit longer, and I'm going to leave it there, and I'm going to try to see if I can keep that up. That was one thing that happened this weekend. Another thing that happened this weekend is I cried a lot, which I won't go into why or anything, but I hadn't in a long time, and there was just this big sense of like relief. And then the third special thing that happened this weekend was I read some Virginia Woolf, specifically A Room of One's Own. And this is part of the Ray Bradbury challenge that I'm giving myself for the month of November, which is a reading and writing challenge. And one of the things I want to talk about is how I don't want to be so rigid about my goals and my this challenge and this, that, and the third. I want to let them kind of be in the background as a framework, as a guardrail to keep me on path for what I want and what I know I want, but I'm not going to get bent out of shape about it. I'm going to talk about that. But the point is that I read A Room of One's Own late last night by the candles, by our ofrenda. Happy Dia de los Muertos, if that's something that you celebrate. That happened here where I live in Mexico over the weekend. And it was very quiet. It was very dark. And I just eased into the exquisite mind of Virginia Woolf in these essays and sort of beheld her mind at work. And I think that is what she does so amazingly as a writer, is really like takes you with her, takes her into her mind, which is such a staggeringly intelligent and rich and beauty-finding mind, and yet takes you in there and manages to not, and it says, hey, it's okay. I know it's a lot, but I'm here with you. And in any event, the three of those things together has just put me in a state this fine Monday morning of feeling centered, of feeling ready, of feeling capable for the week to come. So that's where I'm at. That's where I'm at right now. That's the the emotional, spiritual state, as it were. Now I'm going to get down to it here and talk about the actual writing, the reading I want to do this week. I do have goals, specific ones. And first and foremost, I want to try to finish some stories. I want to try to get to the end of things. I'm making the kind of common mistake of getting a new idea, getting so excited about it, writing a first draft, and then leaving it and moving on to the next idea instead of finishing that. I know this is an issue that others on this community have experienced as well. Let me pull up the chat here. I'm sorry if I've neglected it. Hey Takashi, hey Margot writes, hello, welcome. Anyway, yeah, I know some of y'all have probably experienced this when you start something and you're like, oh, this is fire. And then you kind of like don't finish it, or you don't revise it, or you don't do the kind of labor necessary to get it to the finish line. I have definitely been experiencing that. And there's really no excuse since these are short stories. It's like, hey, finish it, submit it. So my goal is to finish some stories this week. That is the big writing goal, of finish at least one story. I definitely want to send out Under the Pear Tree, which is this kind of dark literary fiction story that I really love. That one is ready to send out, so no excuse. Gotta get it back out there. That's a goal for the week. Reading-wise, briefly, the Ray Bradbury challenge, he said for 1,000 nights, if you read one poem, one short story, and one essay, you'll have all the input you need to write what you want, to have a fertile imagination that's ready to produce, that's ready to share good work. So on the reading front, that is my goal there. And generally just try to maintain this kind of sense of clarity I have, frankly, which I feel came from a little distance from the phone, a little distance from the work, just trying to just slow the heck down and think about guardrails. What are some basic things that just keep me in the right direction that I'm going, rather than hard and fast rules? So that's kind of my big idea for the day, for the week, is just trying to stay focused. So on the reading, I want to read some Stephen Graham Jones short stories, some Ted Chiang short stories. I want to continue reading Virginia Woolf, and I want to read one poem a day, and I want to just read that with you here to get the week going. This is a poem that I'm going to put up here on screen. This is from the Oxford Book of English Verse. I'm just going to put these words into the universe to get them, I don't know, to be thinking about language, right? That's the core. That's the core of what we do anyway. So this is Cuckoo Song. This is an anonymous poem. We don't know the author of this. This is from the year 1250. And to keep things simple for myself in this goal of reading one poem a day, I'm just going to slowly work my way through this book called the Oxford Book of English Verse, because it's all public domain. The original one is. I haven't read this poem yet, and there's some antiquated language, so bear with me, but I'm just gonna read it. It's short. Cuckoo Song. Summer is a-comin' in, loud sing cuckoo. Groweth said, and bloweth med, and springeth the wood new, sing cuckoo. A bleateth after loam, loam after cav coo. Bullock starteth, book verteth, Murray sing cuckoo. Cuckoo, cuckoo, well sings thou, cuckoo. No sweet thou never knew. Sing cuckoo, new, sing cuckoo. Sing cuckoo, sing cuckoo, new. That's the first poem of this collection. There's a little explanation there about some of those words. Obviously, I don't know what all these words mean, but I actually am loving that because it's just the musicality is so present. So present. Welcome, everyone. If this is your first time here, my name's Asa Merritt. I write short fiction. There's a community of us in pursuit of fiction together called the Public Writers Workshop. That is a Discord server. I will share information for that if you're so inclined. Let me know, either here in the chat or over in the Discord, what you're working on this week. I'd love to hear about it. And I hope everyone has a great week. If you're catching this live right now, I am going to take a quick break, but I'm going to put in a long work session, a long Write With Me session here this morning. So you're more than welcome to join, and we can continue starting this week off right. I appreciate you.